Struggle was not red. I experienced it, being deprived, being oppressed, even confused. It's enough now, we're taking the power back. We're stronger than before, we're prouder, too strong. The worst is over. From Cape to Cairo, Morocco to Madagascar, from Cape to Cairo, Morocco to Madagascar.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the AZAPO online political education platform. My name is Tshepo Morufane and we are here with Comrade Gekele Tshepo. We are co-hosting today's discussion, and here we are with the provincial leaders of the Azanian People's Organization, and we have Comrade Thulani Mayekiso, who is the provincial chairperson of AZAPO in Gauteng. We have Comrade Moyaha, the chairperson of Limpopo. We also have Comrade Winky Mngqibisa, who is the chairperson of AZAPO in the Eastern Cape. We have Comrade Nodoba, who is the provincial organizer of AZAPO in the Northern Cape. And we also have Comrade Lwando Zweni, who should be joining us shortly. He was here and got disconnected earlier. And we are also waiting on Comrade Lebohang Mofokeng from the Free State, who is also joining us shortly. And then we should also have Comrade Tshepo Morufane from Mpumalanga. He is also joining us shortly. And the comrades have been battling with technology issues. And other than that, we expect them to be with us shortly. So today we are looking at AZAPO. And AZAPO is hosting the National Congress on the 4th of December, and we are looking at the organization, and the provincial leaders will be giving us their reflections and their thoughts and their ideas as we march towards the National Congress. And the topic of discussion is really towards the AZAPO National Congress and the expectations and the future, and these leaders will reflect on the topic, and they will reflect on what they see, the kind of AZAPO that they want as we move forward. But before then, earlier today, we welcomed back to AZAPO Comrade Cdes Winky, and you all know her. She was in the national leadership of AZAPO as the Deputy Secretary for Publicity and Information, and she was in conversation with the provincial leadership in Comrade Mayekiso and Comrade Thulani Mayekiso, the chairperson, as well as Comrade Amukelani Ngobeni. Let's listen to that conversation before we move forward.
Good afternoon, comrades, leaders of the provinces. My name is Amukelani Ngobeni, and with me here it's Comrade Cdes Winky. You all know Comrade Winky does not need any introduction. Comrade Winky is one of those people who, for some reasons, took a decision to leave the organization. But we all know that even though she had submitted the resignation letter, she never left the organization. I mean, this is her home, and that's why she's here today. Comrade Winky, how are you doing?
I'm good, Mama. How are you?
No, I'm fine, thank you. Welcome back to the organization. I understand that you you have taken a decision to rejoin, but just before you take us through that, tell us, how have you been personally?
Okay, thank you for having me. I've been okay, Mama, just focusing on some family stuff and personal matters, but I've been good, it's been a long journey. I mean, it's been over a year since I submitted that resignation, right? And of course, from the moment I submitted the resignation, you would know I was very disgruntled. I was very angry. I had a lot of emotions for reasons you and I know. There were serious allegations that were leveled against some of us. Not want to dive into details as to the nature of the allegations. But at the time, they made some of us very uncomfortable, and they just made the working space not very conducive for us to thrive, for us to do the work that we wanted to do for Black people through the vehicle that is AZAPO. So, but other than that, I've had some time to sit and, just focus and ease my mind and focus on family. Just like COVID. So it's important to just reflect and spend time with people I care for and people I love. It's been good.
Good to hear. Good to hear from you. I'm not sure. I'm not going to ask you why you left, why all those kind of things. Because, like I said, I know you never left. You have always been here. Have you gone through administrative processes of rejoining? What's happening?
Yeah, definitely. I signed my membership form, I think, on the 17th of this month, and the membership fee has been paid. And as we speak, I can safely say I am a member in good standing.
These are exciting news.
Yeah.
No, very, very exciting. No, I must indicate that I'm excited myself for having you back in the organization. The organization needs you. But I must also indicate to the panel here that this is one of the results of the work that we've been doing, reaching out to all our comrades who are out there, because we believe that AZAPO at this point in time needs each and every one of them to come to the organization, rebuild this movement. And I believe that this 4th December project is a project very exciting, and with people like you coming in, surely I want you to say a word or two about that.
No, I personally am extremely excited about the project to rebuild. AZAPO is a people's organization, it's a people's movement. And if there are strides towards taking this movement back to the people, that's what I believe in, So I think, this project is going to be an important one. It's an exciting one for me. It should be an exciting one for young people as well.
Sure.
So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to working with the leadership ahead. And thank you for thinking, that the contribution that I will make is going to be valuable to the organization.
It has always been. It has always been.
Sometimes you exist in these spaces, you do the little you can, and you don't think your efforts go, get noticed. It's good that the little that we do to contribute to the struggle of Black people does not go unnoticed. So yes, I'm quite pleased and very excited to be part of the project.
Thank you so much.
All the best.
And once again, welcome back to your home. AZAPO, it's your home. This is your father's organization. This is Black people's organization.
Indeed.
And as a Black person, automatically this makes you your home.
For sure.
So comrades, that was it. Straight from the horse's mouth, Comrade Kekuzwa Dabula. She's back in the organization, ready to work, ready to make the sacrifices, contribute where she can. And then I think we all are. I think that's what we had for you this afternoon. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the 4th of December.
Definitely, I'll be there.
Yeah, definitely. Comrade Basha, back to you.
No, thanks for that. And it's been great to hear that Comrade Kekuzwa Dabula is back in the organization and back in the fold. And I'm sure, the Azanian People's Organization is much richer with her wanting to continue to contribute to the growth of the movement and to the rebirthing exercise that a lot of the comrades are committing themselves to. Let's move on to the discussion that we are here for, and all of the people to hear what the AZAPO provincial leaders are going to be telling us. And let's start off with Comrade Thulani Mayekiso, the provincial chairperson of Gauteng. Comrade Mayekiso, give us your reflections and your thoughts.
Thank you very much, Comrade Ashe. Good afternoon to you, my tower, and the team that is working you behind the scenes. Great work indeed. I also greet the panelists, my comrades and my colleagues in this call, as well as the audience, people that have connected and listening are now listening to this discussion. Comrades, essentially, we are literally 12 days away from the National Congress of AZAPO, which will be held in Johannesburg, UJ, University of Johannesburg, Soweto branch or Soweto campus on the 4th of December. And needless to say, branches and hardworking individuals of these organizations and all the structures and leadership included are hard at work, finalizing the logistical arrangements to actually stage and deliver a successful Congress. So we're looking forward to that Congress because it will be a big Congress. It will be a turning point for this organization. That's how we see it, and that's how we seriously look at it. So having said that, I must also mention that there's some spade work that is being done by the standing committee helping towards that. And we wish everybody that is hands-on in this project we wish them well. But I also want to mention that, that there's been a lot of work that has been done behind the scenes, particularly making sure that we are in a good state of readiness for the Congress. To be as successful as we want it to be. So including reaching out to, various people, leadership identification and consultation process that has been done jointly and collaboratively, leading us to a very formidable team that we wish for to lead this organization going forward. And we have gone through the length and breadth of this organization and even beyond this organization, looking at capable leaders, capable men and women that can bring light back to this organization, that can take this organization and lift it and put it, up where it belongs amongst the stars. And it has not been an easy process as well. And this, Comrade Ashe, has been done with the mindset that it is not business as usual, my town. We can no longer afford to approach Congress, particularly this Congress, which we see as a milestone and a turning point in this organization that we see to be in crossroads as such. We needed to do something extraordinary. I also think and believe that everybody that has been involved in that project, the project of not only rebranding, but regrouping and rebuilding and expanding Azanian People's Organization to make it a functional organization that will stand up for Black people at large. So I think everybody that has been involved, comrade, deserves a pat in the back. Provinces across, and even individuals that we need not mention that have done a lot of hard work. So even to the comrades that have put their foot forward and agreed that they are prepared to take the medal, that they are prepared to take this challenge of rebuilding this organization. And we wish to thank them in advance. Thank you, my comrade.
All right, and thank you for that input and the reflection. That was the chairperson of Gauteng, Comrade Thulani Mayekiso. Now we move to Comrade Nodoba, the provincial organizer of the Northern Cape, for his reflection. If you can just unmute.
Do you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you.
We can hear you, Comrade.
Yeah, thank you and welcome to everybody and to our former publicity secretary. Thank you for coming back to the House of the Black People. Comrade, noting that we are going to the National Congress, as you look back, most of our leaders, people who were leading, they've been criticized. And if you look back, not all of them have returned to the organization. We came from where leaders were elected yearly, went to the second year, and we go to Comrade Wangela. And if you look, all the people in the standing committee, most of them, they didn't finish their term of office. You look at the provinces, the same process is the same. People don't finish their term of office. Then we ask ourselves, actually, what is happening in our organization? What is that we are doing wrong that cannot come right? Is it financial? Is it we don't take one another on an empirical approach? Or are we using gossip to break down our comrades? Or actually, what is the problem that makes us leadership could not be able to do their job? So from our province, we feel that there's a lot that should be done. And those are the things that we first have to look. If you go back to Shaft 17, you have seen comrades leaving. And ever since there's been a gate open, comrades just leaving. Then you ask yourself, actually, what did we go wrong? Now, for the coming leadership, I will ask them to look into this process and then check actually what is the cause. What makes us not to see eye to eye, and what makes us not to function. But as I look, I see that financially, we are not enabling our leaders. That's why some of them will stay out, or some of them will carry on, those who have. So if we cannot make means or ways as members to make our leaders to be functional, we'll be having a lot of problems. So I'm asking from today on, is it possible to do away with critics as to say what the previous leadership has done and what we want to do? I mean, it has been a legacy, as I look down, as my analysis, that every time people are leaving, why? Can we look into this so that we can build a better AZAPO? Can I hold it for now?
Thank you, comrade.
Thank you so much, Comrade Gush, and good afternoon to everybody that's joining us, and good afternoon to the panelists. Thank you so much for having made the time to join us this afternoon. I'm so glad to be part of this forward-moving discussion. So to take us to the next level, we would like to introduce Comrade Pat Moyaha from Limpopo, who is going to give us his reflections on where to from here. Comrade Pat.
Unmute. Comrade Pat is not audible.
Unmute.
Yes, thanks. I'm sorry for that. Thanks, Comrade KK and fellow panelists and fellow comrades who are viewing from different places. Indeed, it's a privilege to be given an opportunity to reflect on the state and where we want to take our organization. I think I'm excited that we met as a province yesterday, the extended PEC with regions and some province and branches to discuss what we are discussing now, apart from reviewing the previous local government elections. And we say the first thing that is important is to acknowledge that we are not where we are supposed to be. Once you acknowledge that, then there is a need, there is a desire to be where you envisage yourself to be. We agree that AZAPO is not where it should be, and we don't blame anybody for this except ourselves. I'm a member of the Central Committee. If anything, it's a collective responsibility that we are not where we are supposed to be. But before I even get taken, I must acknowledge Comrade Mngqibisa for rejoining his home. Welcome, my tower. It is a pleasure. Politics is it's a game, it's a science of multipliers. We unfortunately lose a lot of people through natural issues. We bury week in, week out, but we don't get as new members as we are supposed to, or as members as we are supposed to. Therefore, it is a privilege and really it is an honor. I'm excited to receive one of our own and hoping that we'll go all out and get many back. As I was saying, the province reflected, and then we acknowledge that we are not where we are supposed to be. And we acknowledge that there are many things, but we also acknowledge that we have a strong philosophy that carries us. This philosophy you cannot doubt. The Black consciousness, you cannot doubt it. And this is the philosophy that we acknowledge. It attracts a lot of people, including the youth. And therefore, the problem is just doing things differently, just here and there and here and there differently. We think we have started with other comrades in the provinces and so forth to think of the leadership at the end of the term of our central committee that is coming to an end in a week's or 2 weeks' time. We thought very well for a long time, about 6 months or so, we started discussing this. And comrades should remember that, and especially Comrade Bush, what he said. Remember that in the past, to try and avoid office bearers not completing their terms, we even had a configuration committee that will make sure that people are aligned and people are like-minded, people are committed, like-minded leaders. But it didn't work. When we arrived at Midlands at the previous conference, people who were not even talked to by that committee, that were not even caucused by the provinces, they come in the meeting, they speak nice English, very good language of socialism and so forth. They get voted into power. 3 months down the line, we hear they are not even coming to Central Committee meeting. We don't see them. So I think I want to say the efforts made by the current provincial leadership, inclusive of individuals like you, comrades here, is encouraging that we had to discuss and decide what type of an organization do we want? What type of AZAPO do we want in the future? Once you meet and you identify this is the organization that you want, you then look, what are the kind of people, what profiles will meet this particular organization we look into the future? And then we look at the profile, hence the type of leadership that is circulating that we are trying to finalize. And this leadership was not an easy sort of thing. It was a struggle, heavy debates among ourselves. And I want to say, we believe the Congress as we go there, this is the leadership that we think is hands-on. This is the leadership that we think will rectify our mistake where we were just not visible as an organization. I mean, we can't blame the media for coming to us. It's either because we did not do anything to deserve media attention, or we're just not willing to be in the media space. And then I think this is the type of leadership that we believe is well mixed. I mean, I think they're almost all younger than me. So, it's good that we have that type of leadership. I mean, that will be leading us. I mean, and fresh ideas and hands-on people. I'm really excited and hoping that the Congress will do things the way I do. I'll pause here for now.
Thank you so much, Comrade Pat, and I'm so sorry for these technical glitches. And on to Comrade Winky Mngqibisa from the Eastern Cape. Greetings, and please give us your understanding of the way forward for the movement, as well as maybe just an analysis of where from in terms of where to going forward. Thank you so much, Com.
Thank you, Keke. Thank you to the panelists and all the people who are listening. I would like to first say welcome, Comrade Cdes Winky for coming back to the organization. We needed the young, fresh minds. AZAPO has invested a lot on some of you, and we hope that you are welcomed, and we hope that the AZAPO that we want will be in shape when people like you are joining us. As a province, as provinces, we are coming back far. 6 months ago, we have tried to sit and plan and look at the way forward, because we could see that AZAPO is not where we want it to be. The fact that we are on this platform today, it is a brainchild of all the provinces, because we felt that we need this political education. We need to do what AZAPO is known to be doing, so that we can reactivate the mind and reactivate the activism of our own comrades. So we are glad that at least this platform, we are using it, and it is attracting a lot of people. And also, as provinces, for the first time, we tried to sit and plan and ensure that the type of leadership that we want, we need to debate it, so that what Comrade Mwaku is saying, that we don't just elect people who are coming to the Congress and speaking nice English and articulate the BC and vanish, because that is what was worrying us. So now that we have met as provinces and reflected on the type of leadership that we want, we hope this Congress is going to be a smooth sailing Congress. And as a result, we are grateful that the people that we managed to talk to have agreed to serve this organization. So we don't want AZAPO to be where it is now, because we want AZAPO to be the glorious movement that is known. I remember one of my colleagues, who's an old man who retired a long time ago, he used to say to me, my tower, without even being a member of AZAPO, because during the negotiations, he used to say, once AZAPO is there on the debate platform, I know that I need to sit down and relax, because I'm going to hear what I want. So I think we need that type of AZAPO. We need that type of leadership that is going to be where people are, instead of sitting and relaxing and think that things are going to be done in our own way, because we are supposed to be the servants of the people. We need not to do the vice versa. So on that note, I think I need to pause there. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Winky, and that was very nice. And we now move to the Western Cape. We have Comrade Lwando Zweni. If you can just unmute and give us your reflection as we move to August National Congress.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Ashe. Thank you, comrades, for this opportunity. Comrades, I'm not going to make a very long introductory remark. I am just going to reflect on what the future holds for the movement. The comrades before me Comrade Mayekiso and Comrade Winky, Comrade Gush and Comrade Ngwako, they have just put it there. We know where our movement is at this point. We know what is the situation with AZAPO at this point. We know that the province from which have been sent here to speak is in trouble in terms of structures. We can go further and further and so on. So what I think this platform is here to do is to change the fortunes of AZAPO, is to bring AZAPO back to what AZAPO used to be in 94, is to bring the kind of leadership that our people deserve. That's what this platform should point to, is to give the pointers. What kind of leadership do we want? What kind of people do we want to lead this beautiful movement of Bigo? What kind of people are these that we want to make sure that are going to take the baton from the leadership that has passed, is going to leave that seat, Joburg. I'm going to say just a number of things that comrades in my province have said I must say here. The first one, comrade, and this is a call for a visionary leadership, a leadership that knows, and a leadership that
I don't know what happened there, Comrade Lwando. It seems you're broken. Can you hear us?
can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay, thank you, comrades. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. All
We
right,
can
thank
hear
you.
you.
I said the first thing. Okay, thank you, comrades. We have identified about the kind of leadership that we want. We're saying that the leadership that we must get is a leadership from this Congress that is going to be present, a present leadership. Meaning in our communities, we need a leadership that is going to be seen, to be present, to know, to deal with the people on the ground. We don't want a leadership that will be seen in suburbia. We don't want a leadership that will be seen being far away from our people. So that's the kind of leadership that we want, a present leadership dealing with contemporary issues that our people are grappling with on a daily basis. A leadership that will create a media space while making as well as mainstream media. That's the first thing. Media and the presence amongst our people. They must know what our people think and are going through on a daily basis. The second thing, a leadership that is characterized by integrity. We need a leadership that is a respectable, dependable kind of leadership, that is politically rooted, a cultured leadership that knows peace and appreciates peace and knows that what peace means to our people. That's the kind of leadership that will serve selflessly. A leadership that will serve selflessly without without worrying about getting benefits or niceties or getting into the list, that kind of thing. A leadership that will prioritize the development of the youth. Remember, more than 60%, according to the Stats SA, of the population of this country is the youth. And amongst those people, there is the women, the black woman, the black young woman. So we want a kind of leadership that will prioritize the youth in this country and make sure that whatever programmatic actions or programmatic plans that are in place are geared or engineered so that they will be helping the youth by and large. The fourth one, Comrade Ashe, quickly, is that we want to reclaim the revolutionary character of AZAPO. Remember, AZAPO now is seen in the public domain as a very liberal ANC, kind of nice buddy with the ANC in the last decade or so. AZAPO has changed its revolutionary character. So we need that to be reinstated by this kind of leadership. The revolutionary character that we know AZAPO to be. The kind of AZAPO that will be taking taking nothing lightly. when dealing the issues of our people, and as a leadership that is critical and will deal with the issues of our people critically, and from time to time, study the environment within which our people live, and come up with positions that are in accordance with what is happening on the basis, on the ground. So I can go on and on, Comrade Ashe. I know my time is limited, but essentially, the kind of leadership that we want is a leadership that will be responsive to our people. I can go on, Comrade Ashe. Please
No,
let
I
me,
know,
at
I
this
know.
point, give other comrades a chance.
I was about to tell you that there is a time limit to your, allocation. I want to move on to Comrade Tshepo Morufane, the chairperson of Mpumalanga, for him to also give us his reflection. And he joined us a little late. He didn't have power in Mpumalanga since yesterday, so it's been tough. And as we chew in Comrade Tshepo Morufane, we also received an apology from Comrade Mfananene, the KwaZulu chairperson, who is down with flu as we speak. And he had attended the funeral of one of our comrades in Mzimkhulu and came back not feeling well. So we had to excuse him from this conversation. Comrade Tshepo, if you can, just unmute and then also give us your reflections in terms of what you see happening as we move towards this National Congress of the Azanian People's Organization. Comrade Tshepo, if you can unmute. Okay, there you are.
Thank you, Comrade Ashe, and good afternoon to you and fellow panelists, as well as the viewers of this platform. My apologies for joining in late. My area, we did not have electricity since 6 p.m., so things already got very hectic on my end. But Comrade Ashe, what we can say as the province of Mpumalanga is we expect to have a different AZAPO coming back from the forthcoming National Congress. So, as we know, AZAPO is a political organization, so a organization. Of liberating the Azanian people from colonialism. That character we want the incoming leadership to amplify when come back from the Congress that will be taking place on the 4th of December. So today we have, as we have marked the 27th years of the African National Congress, the Black people are still are still the face of poverty in our country. And the masses, particularly young people, have been forsaken by their own government. So this where people are not seen as human resource, but then they are being seen as liability to the state. So we expect coming back from Congress, we will have a party that will be championing the needs and interests of and we'll see another party than as that space at the moment. So we need leadership that is visionary, a leadership that is visionary that will be able to carry all aspirations, that will be able to carry the aspirations of the Black masses. We need a leadership that will be inspirational to the people of Azania, where they feel inspired by the leadership of AZAPO, inspired in a way they always try to perform to their best abilities, because what we said now, the face of Black people in the country is associated with mediocrity, is associated with substandard performances in all spheres of the economy. So we need a leadership that will raise the image of Black people, that will champion the interest of Black people, that will portray Black people as people who are competent, as people who are innovative. So that is the kind of leadership that we need. And we need a goal-oriented or action-oriented leadership. Comrades, is of use for us to sit here in these platforms and not care how those ideas for a brainstorm about. We need a that will be a on the ground that will be seen by people, not only during the elections, but then even when there are elections, even when there are no by-elections, but then we should have programs that will be running all the time in all provinces, and seeing a national leadership, seeing provincial leadership, seeing regional leadership, seeing branch leadership, folding their arms and dating their hands, working. So we need a leadership that will be inspiring, not only internally or not only in AZAPO, but then that inspiration should go on to the people of the country. Because right now what we see,
Thank you.
Many people, particularly Black people, are despondent. They have lost hope because of the kind of leadership that they are seeing. And we want to say, when we come back and when we brag about AZAPO having a new leadership, as the saying goes, that new brooms sweep clean. But then this broom, it must forever be renewing its efforts, its energies to serve the people of the country. Because really,
we agree, Comrade Tshepo. In the interest of time, thank you so much. I'm so sorry to cut you. I agree with you that we really need to have a cleaner sweeping broom. But in the interest of time, I'd like to also introduce Comrade Dice Teletsani from the Free State, the Deputy Chairperson of the Free State, to also give us his view as well as his reflections on where we are and where we are going and the future he envisages for AZAPO. Comrade Dice, over to you.
Mute Comrade Dice and make a contribution. Comrade Dice, yes. We seem to have lost.
We've lost him.
Yeah, we've lost him, Comrade Keke. I think we need to move on in the interest of time. And what has been clear is that there is a sense of urgency from the provinces. They really want to see this organization moving forward, and they really want to see a lot of energy and a lot of freshness and a lot of action And I'm not too sure, you know, they're describing the type of leaders that they want to see, but, you know, they're not talking to us about the kind of programs that they want to see. If they can just give us a bit of reflection on the type of programs and the type of action, and where do they see this organization in the next year, in the next 6 months? What would they want to see? What would define success for them in the next, 12 months? Comrade Gush.
Yeah, what we would like to see, first it's all, I've already said that we want empirical approach to our leadership. The other thing is that after the election, we need to have leadership workshop for every month in 3 months, meaning that this whole central committee, so that they must understand each other and gel, and where we start our program of action, so we move forward. The other thing is the finances. If it will be what we would like, it will that every member every month to contribute amount of 200 rands. That will enable us to carry us our programs. That will enable us to see the coming in leadership do what they are supposed to be doing. But at this point in time, because we are not doing that, that's what we are having, that we are seeing.
So it's Northern Cape wants us to focus on fundraising and ensure that whatever programs we come up with, you know, the organization must be able to fund. And I think let's move to Comrade Mayekiso. Mayekiso, what kind of programs do you want to see, the leadership implementing as we move forward?
Thank you once again, Divashe. I think the starting point for me would be, and I hope and wish that this does not happen, because it has happened a lot, should have stopped as soon as yesterday, that members of this organization mobilize towards Congress, geared towards Congress, get to Congress and they elect leadership, and thereafterwards we go home and we mind our own businesses and expect the same leadership that we have elected to sweat and do everything. That's number one for me. We as members of this organization across this country should be prepared to dirty our hands. So it should be an all hands on deck approach, everybody putting shoulder to the wheel. And this is something that we've normalized, denying people that we have elected the support that they deserve from us, because they can be as good as the support that we give them. That is the first point for me. But having said that, comrade, AZAPO, by its weakness or its absence from the political landscape and community struggles, it has denied Black people in particular of this country the solution-oriented mindset that it carries with. We are known to be a solution-driven organization. So we have since been standing on the periphery. Perhaps one may even say, watching a game we should be playing, but now we need to be involved. We need to get dirty, get our hands dirty. So there's a lot of problems and challenges that people face. You can think of taxi conflicts. They shouldn't be left to the Department of Transport. It's our people that are in there. And when taxis are in, but digging deep and getting into the problems of why do the taxi industry get so bad, such that lives are lost, lives are maimed, and other races are watching us. And we're also watching our people killing each other. And we're not coming with any solution. Is it the financial programs of the taxi industry? Is it to their advantage? Is it to their disadvantage that it ends up with them fighting against each other? Where are the solutions? AZAPO get involved. So this is where I see then us also, making our presence felt. And by the way, the taxi industry is predominantly Black industry. If we had any opportunity to make a shining example of a business, that is the one. But you look at it now, it is in shambles. I can say the same thing about the unions, particularly in the mining space, the mining sector. Our brothers have got this tendency of thinking they've got solution when they, just maim each other. And you hear no voice from AZAPO, see no action from AZAPO when Black people are doing such things to each other. It has become so common to hear of, pockets of Black people fighting amongst each other without us offering any solutions. And I think a leadership that will sensitize AZAPO members and Black people in general, and influence them to think more seriously and to be a Black person in where do we make these numbers count in our benefit? Where do we make our numbers count in our benefit and benefit us? So AZAPO should lead in that thinking. All right, and I think another area, Comrade Kashe, would be the township economy. If there's anything to talk of that is in the left or is still left in the Black hands or our Black small businesses, it must be very little. We've seen in the previous decade the shopping malls coming to the township, taking the little business that there was or that still there is for small Black businesses. 2-3 years ago, ShopRite and Pick n Pay were chest beating, very proud to share their results of their project in which they actually rolled out containers into our township to actually scrape off the little bits of rands that are still circulating amongst us. And I cannot talk enough then of what has happened recently with the influx of the foreign trading brothers and sisters who have just taken everything from Black business people, small, medium enterprises. And this is an outcry from many organizations like the National Traders Forum. They have got a war on their hands. And we should be, as AZAPO, be biased towards them. And I think another area, Comrade Jashe,
Comrade Mayekiso.
Leaving AZAPO.
Comrade Mayekiso, just so that we can give other people an opportunity, I have to cut you again. I do apologize because I'm really, really excited about what you have to say. You paint a beautiful picture of a program that we can really take forward to our people to fight for the spaces and the economic well-being of Black people and the dignity of our people. So I'm quite excited with what you have put up for discussion or consideration by the leadership that's coming in. Comrade Winky, I would like to ask you specifically, and I know this is a very biased question, when we talk of the fact that women make up 50.3% of the South African population, and yet they cannot be seen in politics, they cannot be seen in business, and we have issues of gender-based violence, we have issues of drugs, we have issues of maternal death still. Where do you see AZAPO in going forward? What do you see the role of AZAPO in terms of the issues that really plague Black women in particular?
Thank you, Keke. I think that is very true. We need this leadership to concentrate on the issue of women organization, because it's a problem with us. In fact, the structures, the youth structure and the women structure, which seems not to be on par on the issue of politics. The fact that we are having few women in AZAPO, it is because we are not making the effort to recruit. The fact that our youth structure is not active enough, because that's where also the women are. So this leadership, one of the things that they need to do is to concentrate on the structures that needs to be built. We understand that there are so many people that are not organized. Kwame Ture used to say it is better to belong to an organization. And the fact that we are unable to allow women in the organization. Also, even those that are within the organization are not seem not to be doing anything. So we'll need the leadership to rejuvenate the AZAPO back to where it belongs. That is the glorious moment. The fact that AZAPO is silent and in media space, we need to ensure that we breathe on media space to ensure that the journalists are looking for AZAPO's opinion more than us looking for the journalist. That is where we are lacking. And the fact that it can't be that AZAPO is silent on the issue of current affairs, like you were saying, the GBV issue, because we need a women's organization that has the policy that we know when we talk about gender-based violence, because the issue here is that when you talk about gender-based violence, we only concentrate on females as if it is a female issue, because both genders are being abused. The reality is that, and once we have platforms that we can talk to these issues, we'll see more women coming in. As you know, that even we unions, we have the same problem of sexual harassment. And you find that it is not easy. It is not an easy subject, because in most cases, the organizations like you and even the unions, they don't want to speak on those issues. And if we are silent on those and we are not doing workshops so that we understand why men are killing women, why there's this violence, it means we're in trouble. Also, if I may add, I think we need this leadership to realign AZAPO to the parliamentary politics, because that's where we are lacking. I'm sure we are still grounded on the liberation politics. As a result, we don't give ourselves a chance to sit and workshop or strategize on the electoral politics. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Comrade Winky. I think I would like to also ask Comrade Pat, who spoke about how he envisaged a younger leadership coming in going forward. We have issues where Black people suffer what we call historical traumas. Young people suffer from historical traumas of violence, etc., etc. The amount of violence in the township is beyond proportion. How do you see AZAPO taking, their stand in terms of violence? But also the biggest thing that is affecting young people is what is affecting African Americans in the US, where either young Black men are in prison or they are doing drugs. How do you see AZAPO playing in that space, and what can we do to ensure the future of young Black people, and particularly young Black men? Comrade Pat, you are muted.
Sorry for that, it's my weakness. Thanks for that. The type of leadership that we want, a responsive leadership, a leadership that instills discipline in its members. Because as an organization, it does not mean that we don't have policies that are still relevant. The reasons we are not implementing the Johannesburg commitment is because we lack leadership that instills discipline within its own members. We lack leadership that is performance-driven, that knows that in order to deliver this thing, you need to give it time frame, and you need to definitely show and measure it. We need leadership that will make sure to deal with this problem. AZAPO needs its presence in every ward of this country. If we are not there, we're not going to address the drug and the boy-child issues. We need to be present in every ward, and that needs to start now with the ward demarcations, because wards are demarcated by political party deliberately to suit certain ends to manage certain municipalities. So what we need to do currently now as we speak, once demarcations process is open, we need to take with, but we need to be such projects of drug rehabilitation centers. If we have youth in our wards, they'll be able to easily identify. If we have presence in the wards, we'll easily be able to identify hotspots in terms of the drug lords, in terms of the people who sell them to our children, and in terms of the users, and in terms of creating facilities, because our communities have abandoned their responsibilities. You cannot have a school built in an area that does not provide recreational facilities like playing ground for football, for netball, and so forth. So we need, our kids are doing this because there's just no rehabilitation, there's just no recreation rather, places where they can go. So the easiest thing that attracts them is drugs. So we need a leadership that can definitely respond to that. In fact, this country is in a mess that it is. Talk of economy, talk of education, talk of health, because of the absence of AZAPO. AZAPO should just, this leadership that comes, and because I think it will have their work easily done, because we are nowhere. Once you raise a single voice, and in resolving an issue of health in a community as a ward-based community leader, which is instilled by discipline coming from the center, what we are talking about. They should be saying, Limpopo as a province, every second week of the month, you should be giving us reports in terms of what you have done by branch, by region, by unit, by ward. And also, as a provincial body, will be instilling that discipline that I need this information from you by first week. And so it goes that way. I'm telling you, if these are done, performance-driven, discipline instilled, leadership, this organization will go far, because we need our presence in the communities, and they are dying for AZAPO, and not only in the rural communities, even at research level. I mean, let's take it. The type of people who were presented here, research documents, talk of COVID, talk of economy, that were presented to this very channel that we are now. Those are the people that could be representing at government level to take this country where AZAPO envisages to be. But it's because we are just not disciplined, we're just not there. This country is in the mess that it is because of AZAPO.
Thank you so much, Comrade Pat. I really appreciate your input there. Comrade Tshepo, I have a question for you, and this speaks to, there's a notion that says whoever pays for it owns it. Whoever pays for it owns it. Now we are talking about where we do that AZAPO does not have money and we need to fundraise. And so it is critical that in fundraising, we do so without compromising ourselves and compromising our position. How do you foresee or what advice would you give to the incoming leadership where fundraising is concerned, particularly around safeguarding the principles of AZAPO? Because we have seen how the ANC and all of these other organizations are driving a particular agenda based on who is funding them. I will wait to hear. Over to you, Comrade Tshepo.
Thank you, Comrade Kekelos. I believe we have it in ourselves to self-fund the organization. I've seen it in my younger days where communities would build churches on their own, where communities would build schools on their own, without government, without any private funder, but the communities themselves doing it. So it really depends on, as Comrade Moyaha has already said, discipline. It depends on discipline. It calls on all of us as members of the organization to start supporting the organization with whatever resources that we have. And a fortnight ago, Comrade Chris mentioned that with programs which are really properly aligned to community-based projects, there are possible funders who are available to fund such programs. But then I think putting our heads together as members of the organization in support of the leadership that would be coming in, it is really upon ourselves not to depend on any other person, because as AZAPO, we always talk about being self-reliant. So that self-reliant, it doesn't start by us going out begging for donations, but it starts by us laying a foundation, supporting our own organization, and seeing that we cover all the basics that really needs to be covered, because truth be told, without any funding, we are going nowhere as an organization. Any available resources in the organization, they determine how fast the organization can go and how wide the organization can reach. So if we really commit ourselves as members of the organization, that it starts by us to make sure that the organization is self-sufficient, is self-reliant, and coming up with those ways of supporting the organization. I believe that if other people or other communities have done it before, I don't see how we could fail, because those people whom I've just mentioned in my response, that we have Swana. Maobana was built by communities, and Itireleng as well was built by communities. So I'm mentioning only those two schools because I have first-hand information, I have first-hand knowledge that the communities took it upon themselves to build those schools. So we really have it in ourselves as the organization to support the organization. And I don't doubt the capability that the organization has had. Only if we can just tweak a little bit on being too much analytical and then being very much active, I believe that they will go places as the organization.
Thank you, Comrade Tshepo. And we are in conversation with the provincial leaders of AZAPO from all provinces of our country. And we are really looking at AZAPO as we march towards its National Congress that is scheduled for the 4th of December. And if you are interested in throwing a word or two, you're more than welcome to drop a note on our Q&A or the chat. And you can even raise your hand and make a contribution and tell us what it is that you think AZAPO should be doing as it emerges out of that National Congress. And there are a couple of comments that we have received already, and people are asking, this organization has it has not been in the media space too much, and how do we then find channels of communicating to the communities, beyond the traditional media, so that you as AZAPO can be found in the media space? And I see a hand here from Comrade Kulufelo Mashabela, who wants to make a contribution. If you can just unmute and make your contribution, it would be appreciated.
Yeah, thank you, Comrade Hashe, and all the panelists. I just want to make a small contribution. I think the organization that I envisage, which I think we should all envisage, is one in which there is a lot of planning. I think we need to start working on targets. For instance, targets of membership, targets of footprint of the organization, and so on and so on. But also, I think there are other things that we need to look at. As Black people, we are generally a consumer type of people. You know, even the things that we use most, we consume, we don't create. For instance, I'd also like to take this opportunity to give this challenge to our women comrades who are on this platform, that maybe we need to look at the economy of hair. You know, there are many black women on this continent. And then if we take on the idea of the hair economy, we can actually resuscitate the economy of the continent on hair only. Yeah, and other things. Yeah, I think I'll stop there for the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comrade Kuruma Shabela and Comrade Lwando. You know, the real question is, how do we see ourselves evolving into what we want ourselves to be? You know, we are building up to this National Congress, and we are, you know, beginning to see the kind and type of AZAPO that we want to be. But how do we really see ourselves evolving into what we ourselves want to be? How do we connect ourselves to communities as we desire? And if you can help us, you know, just unpack that a little more, we would appreciate. If you can unmute as you make your contribution.
Thank you, Comrade Ashe. Am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
Comrade Ashe, we need to package BC. The leadership that must come in needs to repackage BC, re-explain BC, re-articulate BC, so that it can be clear to our people, and also, you know, to the minds of our people, so that they can, you know, take it as and own it and own BC. There's going to be a typical example of something that AZAPO used to do, the campaigns. On the question of economy, AZAPO used to have what we call Scratch the Rent campaign. That campaign was a very useful campaign, could have been a properly you know, successful campaign had it was not for the kind of implementation or the kind of strategies along with which the campaign could not be successful with. So the township economy, our people are in trouble. That's in that space. They are not united. Each and every one of them, they are doing whichever that it is possible for them to do. So if you have a leadership in AZAPO that could approach business people in our township with that kind of campaign, and try and find ways in which they can collectively make money amongst themselves, and the campaign, for example, could be resuscitated so that it can be, you know, effective, you know, and benefit our people. So that is.
Thank you, Comrade Lwando. I see we're losing your connection, but it's fine. We can leave it at that. And as we move towards closing this conversation, maybe we can get your closing remarks, and starting with Comrade Nodoba from the Northern Cape.
Yes, as you have seen, AZAPO's got all the knowledge to salvage itself. It's only on us. If we are disciplined, things will go our way and do what we were taught to do. The other things also, we forget that we need to form trade unions in order to build the organization. Those are some things that we feel that coming election, the leadership must see to it, and that we must be behind the leadership so that everything can carry on. On media, let's forget about media, because media has destroyed us. We can act in a community, the community will talk, not us. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Nodoba. Your closing, Comrade Tshepo Morufane.
Thank you, Comrade. Lastly, let me say, as we know that we are going to the elections, elections in their very nature, they are being contested. So let us support the leadership that will be elected, whether it's your preferred leadership or not, but then we are all of the same family, which is the Azanian People's Organization. Let us all go all out for the organization. We are doing all this because we all love this organization. So let us go there, come back, regardless who emerged victorious, but then we all work hard for the success of the organization. And lastly, Comrade, there will be in the near future, I believe it will happen within the term of this incoming leadership. Media spaces will be open, particularly in broadcast, where the migration from analog to digital. So that will open space for new players in the industry. And as AZAPO, we are faced with a challenge that we need to educate people on this digital migration and the opportunities that will be accruing out of it, and take advantage of it. I believe that in itself may reduce unemployment and may support a lot of artists in the art and cultural sector or the creative industry. And also, as AZAPO, we need to champion the fight of artists, particularly musicians. You see, our radio stations are playing a lot of international music, and then in turn, they will be paying those international musicians royalties. And whereas our own artists are getting very minimal payments out of the radio stations which are broadcasting in this country. So I believe that as AZAPO, as a BC organization, we really need to champion that, because most of the artists in the country are Black. And as well, we have the repeats of the dramas and the soapies, wherein the same actors and actresses are not paid royalties. I believe that as AZAPO, we could make an impact to the lives of those artists if AZAPO was to carry out their fight.
Thank you, Comrade Tshepo. Let's move to Comrade Zweni. Your closing. Comrade Lwando, can you hear me?
Comrade Ashe, yes.
Yeah, can you just give us your 30 seconds closing, please?
Mine, comrades, is to say that we must go to this Congress, to the incoming Congress, with the knowledge that we know what the situation is with regards to our organization, because at the end, this leadership, the new incoming leadership must be the one that must come with a program that will put AZAPO in a very good position to be able to do the kind of things that we're talking about here. If we are going to, because now what is happening is that AZAPO will not be able to do so if we are going to elect a very wishy-washy kind of leadership. So we need to make sure that whoever we're going to be electing out there in that Congress is going to be somebody who's going to do exactly the kind of things that we're doing.
Thank you, Comrade Lwando. Comrade Winky?
Thank you, Comrade. I think we need to strengthen our administration as AZAPO, because that's where we lack. Also, the new leadership that we are going to elect, they must ensure that the publicity desk is up and running, because it can't be that we are not debating on the issues that are facing our people. Also, I think the secretaries that we managed to appoint, we need they need to do the work so that if they are doing their work, we are able to get programs through their research desk. So I appeal to the incoming leadership to also crisscross the provinces. There's no way that leadership can sit in the head office without visiting the members, because that's where you build confidence and you know what is happening and you are able to assist those that are suffering. Thank you, comrade.
Thank you, Comrade Winky, for those really exciting way forward advice. And now we're going to call on Comrade Mayekiso. So please give us your closing remarks, please. Comrade Mayekiso.
Thank you, Comrade Keke. I will be brief, very brief.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, all right. Thanks very much, Comrade. With the background work that has been done so far, and I believe there's more than we know, some of us, I think we have put ourselves in a very strong position going to this Congress to emerge a stronger entity, a stronger AZAPO, and a more united AZAPO, hopefully. We're no longer going in there asking questions about many things. We are very likely to emerge with, if not the whole complement of the positions in the Constitution, more than 95%, if not all. And that's something we have not done in a very long time. It's unprecedented. And that's why I say we have put ourselves in a very strong position to emerge stronger from that Congress. But having said that, I'm looking forward to a national leadership that will be an inspiration to us, that indeed we are a self-reliant people. Comrade George Bia would say, I think he sums it up very nicely when he says, "Sindlu emnyama singumsinsi ozimilelayo." And then you can't say it better than that. We should depend on ourselves. Who is with us can come and assist, whoever supports us can come and assist, but we should be to determine our own destiny. As the saying says, "Siyindlu emnyama singumsinsi ozimilelayo." So that's where I will end it, comrade, and be thankful and grateful to all participants of this webinar. And let's meet in UJ on the 4th of December and emerge stronger than we have been in the recent times.
Thank you so much, Comrade Mayekiso. Comrade Pat, your closing remarks, please.
Thanks, Comrade. I want to acknowledge and thank those who did a lot of spade work behind the scene. A lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of persuasions were done to come up with this leadership that we think it will be responsive leadership to the challenges that happen. It will respond promptly when issues arise from our communities. And I will therefore go to this Congress urging fellow members of our movement to support this leadership in all respects. Thank you, Comrades.
Thank you so much, Comrade Pat. Just in closing, I'm looking forward to Congress. I'm looking forward to, as per the panelists have told us, that they want an AZAPO that develops programs that work in communities. They demand a leadership that will ensure that there's visibility. AZAPO is everywhere. AZAPO is responding to the questions that exist. AZAPO is part of the social discourse. They're looking forward to an AZAPO that is action-driven, an AZAPO that rolls up its sleeves and gets dirty with the communities, and an AZAPO that partners with the communities to make a difference in the lives of our people. They're looking for an AZAPO that is sustainable. There's an AZAPO that is going to be there 100 years from now, an AZAPO that people can relate to, an AZAPO that speaks, that is a voice of our people. They're looking for an AZAPO that has its structures in order. They're looking for an AZAPO that is administratively sound, because you cannot look to go to govern if you yourself are in shambles. So I am looking forward to an AZAPO that is united. I'm looking to an AZAPO that is a lot stronger. And I'd like to thank you so much. And the panelists, Comrade Winky, Comrade Gush, Tshepo, Comrade Tshepo, Comrade Lwando, Comrade Pet, Comrade Mayekiso, Comrade Hashe, thank you so much for having made the time to be with us this afternoon. So next week, we are looking to have the former presidents of AZAPO, Comrade Musibudi Mangena, Comrade Nefolon Bodwe, Comrade Seth Cooper, who are going to tell us what they envisage the next level of AZAPO to be. I am absolutely excited. So thank you so much to everybody who made the time to join us this afternoon, to take your time to be part of this agenda of building what is going to be our nation's beacon. I thank you and have yourself a fantastic afternoon further.
Thank you.